What's good, boys? Welcome. So productivity is useful work put in over a period of time. Pure productivity isn't sitting at your desk for 5 hours and kind of moving your mouse around and just watching it move or clicking on another Instagram tab. Productivity is found best when you have 1 to 3 tasks set out for the day that you prioritize. Productivity comes through prioritization. Those things go hand in hand. They aren't mentioned well enough or often enough, but what works best for me is 2 tasks a day that I mainly work on. Don't be like me in the past where I used to schedule my timetable, and I used to put playing the piano for 30 minutes and then the guitar, and then you can watch a YouTube video, and then math, history, and whatnot. You have 10 different topics and you spend 1 hour on each of them, and you're like, dude, like, wow, like I did so many things today. This is you kind of lying to yourself and mentally masturbating, and you're like, dude, like I did so many things. I did this and I did that. I did 10 different things, but that is not where you derive your efficiency from. Simplicity is the best sophistication. You have to choose 2 main things to work on throughout the day, and your days should be scheduled around those tasks. That's what I found works best for me. That's what I found. That's when I can derive the most optimal productivity at the end of the day. And while I was saying that, I was actually thinking productivity is exponential. When you spend an hour on something, you might only derive this much of productivity. However, when you spend 2 hours, instead of it doubling, it kind of triples. When you spend 3 hours, it goes way more, right? It doesn't just go like this. It goes like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4. It goes higher like that. Obviously, at some point, the exponential curve is just going to fall down because it depends on your mental capacity. Depends on how much your body is used to putting in focus and being able to sit down and observe, learn, and study. Because if your mind's been infiltrated through scrolling on Instagram for 5 hours a day, you know what? As I was saying this is so true. If you've trained your mind to focus on tasks for only 5 seconds a day, you see a video, 5 seconds, scroll, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. You're literally training your mind, but in a way that's destroying you, in a way that's destroying your focus. You might feel entertained, you might feel satisfied. And by the way, most people scrolling, or most people doing, how do I say this, negatively dopaminergic things, they don't even actually really enjoy it. It's more like an addiction. I had a friend who told me his father was addicted to cigarettes. And he said, my father never enjoyed smoking cigarettes once in his life, but he was addicted. That's kind of how it feels. When you see someone scrolling Instagram, they're not laughing. They're not like, dude, like, especially teenagers. Look at them on the trend. They're like scrolling all the time. They don't smile. Maybe you might see them smile like once out of 100 times, but they're slaving. They're being enslaved for their dopamine system. Let's get back to productivity. So I can only tell you what's worked best for me. I am still optimizing for the best workflow. I am still not the person who can work for 10 hours a day. And I don't care what any study says when they're like, oh, the maximum human capacity is 4 or 5 hours a day. That I completely disagree with. You can configure any limitation that you have. Any ADHD person who can only focus for 30 minutes at a time can work himself up to focusing for 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. That's not me being delusional. That's not me being some motivational speaker, by the way. That is me being true because I've seen it. I went from being the boy who could only work on a math question for like 30, 40 minutes. And then he was like, oh, dude, like that's my limit. I have to look at math. To now, sitting down at my desk for 3 or 4 hours. And you know what? I actually derive joy through the fulfillment. I say this in all of my videos if you all are new to my channel. The happiness that you derive through work isn't actually through joy, it's through fulfillment. You will never be working on a math question, you'll be like, this is so fun. The joy that you derive is going to be through the fulfillment, through feeling like you've accomplished something, through feeling like you're not wasting your day. Coming back to routine, the best routine is established for me through 2 things. I split my day by two criteria. One of them is the morning routine. Second is what comes after. Very simple. A morning routine is only 10% of the day, but it's about 80% as important as the rest of the day. Does that make sense? It's only 10% of the day, but it's 80% of the importance that you have to allocate. For me, I strive to wake up at 4:25. This is something that I've been working on. I haven't been fully consistent at it, so I'm not going to preach how to exactly. And my morning routine is taking a cold shower to wake yourself up, to wake up your system. Drinking water, very simple things. You might be like, oh, well, dude, this guy's not teaching me anything. I know this, like, come on, drink water, do this. But this is actually very important. And you have to notice like I said, simplicity is the best sophistication. So cold shower, turn the shower as cold as you can. I usually count for 100 seconds in the shower. Wakes my system up completely. I go from being this fatigued and miserable man to genuinely wanting to conquer the next thing. You can switch up this negative energy through a cold shower that genuinely hits you. And if you're like, dude, like I'm so sensitive to that, great. You have the opportunity to derive even more joy from it. So cold shower, I usually journal or meditate depending on how foggy my mind is. If I feel like my brain's clear enough, if I feel like my thoughts are clear and I don't need to do it, I usually just journal afterwards and then straight to work. I've tried a long morning routine, I've tried no morning routine, I have tried something in between like this, and what I understood, what I saw works best for me is minimizing the time between waking up and getting to actual work. But you have to find the perfect gap in between those. Being too long is not good because it has to be as short as possible while keeping elements that prepare you throughout the day. If I just straight up wake up early and get to work, I find myself still having brain fog, my thoughts aren't clear, takes me some time to get used to it, so I might as well widen the gap a little bit because I'm going to waste time anyway and fill that gap with things that actually prepare me throughout the day. Cold shower, journal, meditate depending on how the day goes. If I feel like I need to meditate afterwards, I meditate after. Not fully, I'm still experimenting with that. You have to experiment. And yeah, you basically have to do this. Now, coming to experimentation, if you're like, well, if you want to find out what works best for you, you have to change one or two variables at a time. You cannot go from waking up at 4:25 and taking a cold shower and journaling and meditating to all of a sudden waking up late and not doing any of these things, because you're not going to understand which factor affects you the most. You have to change them one by one. Keep everything the same, but maybe switch out the journaling out of the way. And try that for a couple of weeks. You're not going to do this for 2 days and be like, I'll try 2 weeks, 2 days, doesn't work. Do it for a longer period of time. Obviously, if you're missing out something, then you will understand it quicker. If you're leaving out journaling and you're like, dude, like it's very obvious to me that I have to keep it in, but especially when you're taking something out of there, give it more time. That is what you need. Works best for me. And okay, change it one variable at a time and give yourself enough time to adapt. Okay, because what I did many times, because I was being such a dumb person, to be honest, when I think back of the past me, I just want to like just strangle him, because it doesn't make much sense. I'm like, dude, why? Like, just keep you wasted. You could have the 2 years that took you to get to this position, you could have done it in 6 months if you just persevered, This is the reason why I want to teach you all the lessons that I have, because I know and I believe in myself that through the systems I built, through the things that I'm working on, through the programs that I'm working on building for you guys, I can elevate your mindset like I elevated mine. But instead of it taking 2, 3 years, 4 years like it took mine, it will maybe take you 3 to 6 months. What a great return on investment. It's great stuff I've been working on for you guys. But getting back to the topic, that is the morning routine. For me, it's cold shower. The moment I wake up, I don't go on my phone. By the way, no phone time, no screen time. 1 hour, optimally 2 hours after you wake up early. Now, if you wake up at 8 a.m., which I don't support, by the way, the best productivity is achieved at 4 a.m., 4 to 6 a.m., okay? And 1 to 2 hours after you've woken up, no phone time, no Instagram, no social media, because even though you might not notice it because you're not present enough in your mind, that actually steals a lot of your energy. This hair is distracting me. Steals actually a lot of your energy, and 1 hour before you sleep, no phone at all. That is something I'm trying to implement, still experimenting with, but I know it works. It's just a weakness of mine that held me from doing that. And I had something else that I wanted to mention to you guys. After the morning routine, the way I structure my work plan is I put in large work blocks throughout the day, and I put the largest work blocks in the beginning, because I know that at the end of the day, when I'm already fatigued and I've already burnt enough calories and my brain is and my body already started recycling, I'm not going to be as efficient at working at 2 hours a day compared to the beginning. So my fuel's going to run out throughout the day, obviously, which is the reason that you sleep at the end of the day. So I put larger work blocks throughout the day, in the beginning of the day. And by large work blocks, I don't mean a 1 hour break, 1 hour break, 1 hour break. It's usually work 2 hours on a task, break, 1.5 hours on task 2, break. If I have task 3, by the way, you have to choose between the three tasks, which one you want to optimize the most, or which one you want to prioritize the most. Task 1 obviously must be the tasks that you're like, I want to get this done the most. Task 2, second, and task 3 is kind of like a side task. I wouldn't even call it a main task because you can't focus on more than two main things. Now, before someone comes on and he's like, well, Elon Musk is running 5 businesses. You're not Elon Musk. You keep wasting your time. You keep lying to yourself. You're lazy. You're not Elon Musk. Stop comparing yourself to that. You have to, dude, so many people don't even consider how the process that it takes to get to a point. They just want to consider the end point. With that out of the way, I know it kind of hurts your ego because it hurt mine as well to think to myself, dude, fuck, like I have to kind of go through all these steps to get there, and I can't just adapt the mindset of that. But that's the way I do. Schedule largest work block, task 1, larger but not as big of a work block, task 2, and then like that. And then I take a break, because your brain does need a mental space. It depends on obviously how much your focus is and how much you've trained your body to focus over a period of time, but that's what works best. And that's the information I can give you all for now. I'm not gonna give you guys or tell you guys stuff that I haven't tested already or that I know might not work. I'm not going to tell you guys stuff that I think is experimental or that I've heard someone say. These are things that I've told you guys that I know with 100% sheer certainty that it works no matter who you are. And if you're like, oh, well, I can't do that, I can't focus, then you need to cut out, you need to kind of detox yourself away from social media and train yourself by focusing and by putting yourself through these annoying periods of time where you just sit down, you're like, fuck, I hate this, it feels boring. That's how you train your focus, through action. Take care, boys. Hope this video helps you guys. As I learn further, obviously I'm going to keep posting, so stay up to date. Bye.